What's up, everybody? It's your favorite nerd who thinks you overestimate their chances. Favorite nerd. And today we are looking at the Star Wars Black Series Solo Wave, Tarkin, and Range Trooper. Pretty interesting stuff here. Not sure how I feel about all of it, but worth talking about, so let's go ahead and get started. So Tarkin comes with the probe droid. Even though he doesn't spend any time with the probe droid in the film, I'll take it because who doesn't want a probe droid? You got a nice translucent stand here, pegs into the bottom on a ball peg. And then you had the probe droid itself, which is done fairly well. Nice sculpt, nice silver paint lining all of this sort of tech stuff going on here. All the little armatures are painted silver. Nothing articulates, at least as far as I can tell. Everything's just sort of stuck in. But we got nice red paint and silver paint throughout. And then you have the ball peg. I wish it was just a single peg that's kind of stuck in because I don't really need it to do all that. But I mean, it doesn't hurt anything. I just feel like, you know, I'm the type of guy that'll put it on the shelf and then I'll sit back and look at it and I'll be like, perfect. Perfect. That's, yeah. All right. Yeah. As for Tarkin himself, the sculpt is close. It's not perfect, but it's close. From certain angles, it looks a little bit better than others, but I think it definitely pulls it off, and the digital paint looks fantastic. No issues there. Nice stuff on the eyes, little subtle shading around the eyes and lips. It's so much improvement. You know, just in the short little wave they've been doing it between the Marvel Legends and here, there's been so much improvement. Really great job. And then we have the hair, which is all dry brush, so that's nice as well. Once again, we have a double ball peg in the head to the neck. The hair kind of stops it from getting much of an upward motion. You do get good down, and then you get the side to side, and you can get a little bit of an attitude, a little bit of a confused dog look. We have the upper body, which is all sculpted beautifully. Like the wrinkles and such, it looks great, very appropriate. And there's a single ball peg from the pelvis into the abdomen. So you don't get much, you get a little bit, mainly just the swivel. Which I think for a character like this is more than enough. Ball hinge, or disc hinge rather, in the shoulder. Gets you up to there, and then all the way around. And then you have all the doodads on this stuff, all looks good, all painted beautifully with the blues, reds, silvers, and yellows. You don't get a bicep swivel, you do get it at the elbow. That gets you just about 90 degrees, maybe a little bit shy. And then, just a little tolerance-wise, not great, but will get the job done. And then you have the wrist, which swivels and then hinges in and out. He has a trigger finger hand. He does not come with a gun. And in this hand, he has a holding hand, but he doesn't come with anything to hold. So I would have preferred just posing hands. I think that would have been much more appropriate. As it is now, I'm going to have to tuck his hands behind his back when I have him on his shelf, because otherwise it's going to look like he's holding an imaginary gun and an imaginary sword. Anyway, we have this floating piece here, which is attached to the belt. All done nice, sculpted well, and looks relatively seamless. A lot of times the floating pieces kind of look like obvious floating pieces. This looks pretty good. T-joint and ball joints for hips get you out to there, forward and back to there, even though you won't need it. Thigh swivel, so that all works fine. The pants are sculpted beautifully. No issues there. Double jointed knee works fairly well. Nice glossy boots, so good choice there. Nice wrinkles in the boots as well. Ankle tilt up, ankle tilt down, and a rocker. It's the second Tarkin figure I've got in a week. Who would have thought? You know, it's crazy, right? 1977, and here it is, 2018. I'm getting Tarkin figures. Anyway, really well done. The Range Trooper comes with this single blaster. Nothing, you know, it's a softer plastic, no paint whatsoever, so kind of back to basics in that regard, but it's fine. And then there is some interesting stuff going on with him. So this head is on a ball hinge. So you get down to there, up to there, and a little bit of a swivel. Then you have this nice, soft goods, little furry bit of business going on, which is really actually quite nice. It doesn't look like bad soft goods at all. It looks fantastic. I really enjoy it. You have this piece of armor here. You have the like heavy dry brush of black here, here, and here, and then the red painted on. This could probably really benefit from a weathering wash. Same with these pouches here. Articulation wise, I think that might be just a single, but it's hard to tell. A single ball peg, you pretty much just get the swivel out of it because he's too bulky to move otherwise. They do this here. They've done this before where they had this little indentation in the suit so that he can have a more natural pose with his arms down by his side. But if you have it out, it tends to give away the suspension of disbelief in a major way. Disc hinge shoulders, they get you up to there and then swivel all the way around. You get an elbow that gets you past 90 degrees, and then with that comes the bicep swivel. And then you have the gauntlets that are sculpted on and painted. There's no washing on any of this, and I feel like this could really benefit from a lot of weathering. So that's a bit of a bummer. And then the wrists are on swivels, and I don't think they hinge at all. No, this one hinges in out, so maybe this one hinges up down. Yes, this one hinges up down. It's just hard to see, and you don't really get much out of it, honestly. And you get a little bit of red paint there. Now, you have this backpack piece that's all sculpted. These straps don't meet the backpack. I'm not sure if that's accurate. It doesn't seem like it should be. But then the backpack itself is all painted and sculpted well. You have this floating piece here, but it is connected to these straps that go around the front and back of the thighs. So I'm guessing that's accurate, but I don't know too much about it. And then you get all this fur in here that is sculpted but not painted. So that's a bit of a bummer because it would really bring out all those sculpted details that they obviously put into it. T-jointed ball joints for hips and surprisingly work really well. They get you out to there, and then front and back, not so much. Thigh swivel, yes, yes. And then you have a knee swivel as well, which is on a disc hinge, which is a bit strange, a little limited, but I got a feeling that he's not the most kind of mobile of troopers because we have all of this bit of business down here at the bottom, which we're getting ready to talk about. We do have these thigh plates that are armored and sculpted, but not washed. And then we'll get to these feet. So there's a lot of stuff here, and I was hoping that I'd be able to make a little bit more sense out of it. I'm guessing it's to help him walk through the snow. That's to assume that he's in the snow. I don't know. But you do get an ankle tilt down, and it's on a hinge right there. But you get a good ankle tilt down, a good up, but because it's just on a hinge, you don't really get any rocker whatsoever. Now, where the actual foot plugs in, it is on a peg, but because of the sculpt, I mean, it's the slightest bit. I don't even think it's worth really counting. But it is an interesting design nonetheless. Then you got, like, I guess some hydraulic stuff going on in the back there to kind of help move it. And then a gold visor, which seems like a weird choice as well, given the kind of imperial, decos. I don't know. I'm not sure if this seems gratuitous to me or not, but that would be on a character design level, not necessarily on Hasbro's plate. It's sculpted extremely well. The articulation works fairly well. It's just a shame that they didn't really weather this thing up because it really would have brought out a lot of those details. Like we got the dry brushing on the black around the helmet and on the black lines and designs and stuff. That all looks great. It looks okay down here too. It just looks like if they had a wash like almost everywhere, it would really bring this thing to life. But good news is you can do that yourself. Final thoughts wise, Tarkin's hand choices. Also, we got an extra hand here to hold nothing, but I guess he can support the blaster with that hand, so I'm kind of okay with that one. Tarkin's hand choices are a big bummer for me. The articulation on the range trooper is really limited. Not as much as it may seem, but it's limited in forward leg movement, which really prevents you from getting a dynamic pose out of him. And then the lack of ankle rocker kind of is a bummer too. But maybe he doesn't even have an ankle rocker in the movie. It's hard to tell until we see it. But from a playability sense, it does suffer from that. The sculpt on both is tremendous. The paint on Tarkin where it is applied is perfect. The paint on the range trooper where it is applied is well done. It just needs a lot more and would have benefited from a lot more. So I ultimately, at the end of the day, do recommend them. Tarkin is a strong release. The range trooper is a really nice attempt, but it doesn't quite knock the ball out of the park the same way the other three figures in the wave have. We did get other figures in the wave. I'm not going to be reviewing them because we've already looked at them. But I will say the Death Star Trooper, the digital paint, is done really well as well. So if you're curious about that, feel free to pick that up. I think you'll be happy. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.